The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, this is February 2nd, 2015, and this is the Monday Night Mastermind. My name is David W. Williams. I'm here with Joshua Bayless and Jason Lockhart, and we're here to give you the information to help make you a leader in your industry. And we also want to make sure that you stick around for the end because we're going to have something very special for everybody that sticks around and listens to the whole webinar. And so what we're going to talk about today is the 4 roles in your business and how to build a business that frees you. And we want to understand that there are multiple roles in your business that you can play. And there's only one role in your business that's going to make you a free of your business where you're going to have the ability to exist outside of your business. So if you're inside network marketing, internet marketing, online marketing, or even if you have a brick and mortar business, any kind of entrepreneur, you need to listen to this particular webinar because looking at the first slide, we understand that most people in their business are in the technician mode. And most people stay at the technician level even when they're making money. And so an example of very successful technicians would be somebody that's a doctor or a lawyer, an orthodontist, where they're in the technician level even though they're making a good amount of money. So the first role of business, as we talked about before, is the employee or the technician. And this is where most people are at in their business, even if they're self-employed or they have their own business where essentially they've created a job for themselves, even though they don't have to report to a boss. So some of the characteristics of a person that's a technician in their business is that they rely on themselves. They rely on themselves to do all the work in the business. Their mindset is that it will be better if they just do it themselves. So they don't have confidence in the ability for other people to do tasks in their business. So they believe they have to do everything in the business. And that's the example of the person that's self-employed that is killing themselves because they think that the only way for things to get done the right way, they have to do it. They have the mindset of, why should I pay someone else to do it when I already know how? So they don't believe that they should spend their money to pay people to do things for them in their business. They believe that because I know it, I should go ahead and pay somebody to do it. So let's say there's something like some kind of computer development that they may know how to do, or let's maybe say there's something involved Photoshop. Their attitude is that I should sit down and watch 20, 30 YouTube videos and to learn how to do this particular thing in Photoshop instead of paying somebody to do the Photoshop for me and freeing up my time, because they don't believe that their time is worth more than money. They believe that their money is worth more than their own time. And they also believe that if you just give me step-by-step instructions, I will take it from there. So once again, we go back to the person with the do-it-yourself mentality where they believe that if you just give me the instructions on how to do it, I can figure out how to do it. And so they don't believe that other people can help them in their business. They believe they should do everything. And that's the typical technician mentality where they're trying to do everything in their business. So if you ever speak to somebody and you ask them, what role do you play in your business? And they say, well, you know what, I do everything. Then you're talking to a person that is a technician. However, you can make money as a technician in your business, but as a technician, you've limited your ability to scale your business up because the point at the bottom of the slide says that you have no leverage in your business when you're a technician. If you have to do everything, there's no leverage involved. And let me give you a really good example. If you ever watch the television show Shark Tank, people come on the Shark Tank and they have particular business models. And one of the business models that normally does not get investment is a person that's a technician. Because Kevin O'Leary explained to somebody that because you do everything in your business and your business is based around who you are as a person, if you die in a car accident tomorrow, we no longer have a business. So that kind of business doesn't attract investment because they want something in which they can move you out of the business and the business can still keep making money. So the next role of the business is the manager coordinator. And this is the second role in which you want to try to transition to. And this is a person that is focused on systems and structure. They keep their eye on the bottom line. They're always looking about how much profit, how much revenue is the business bringing in. They try to get work done through other people. So they've learned how to start delegating responsibilities and trying to get other people to do it. They determine who is the best resource for a given task or activity. So they understand that if I have a person that is very skilled at computers, I need to put that person on computer responsibilities. If I have a person that's very skilled at customer service, I need to let that person handle customer service for my business. And they also seek predictability and they seek order. So they're looking things to be systematized. And you see this when you work jobs where normally your immediate manager is going to plug you into a particular system, and they're going to use you to get things done within that system. And so this is the role in which I personally am working on moving into, because I want to start systematizing my business and start delegating certain tasks to other people to where I don't have to do everything, because I understand a lot of my strengths are not best doing a lot of technical tasks. So when you're a technician, you need to start asking yourself is how can I move into the manager coordinator role in my business, and how can I find people that can do things in my business based on a particular system or structure that I create that are going to get things done, looking at the bottom line and being based around predictability and order. So then your next role is going to be your president or your business builder, okay? And so this is the role after a person becomes a manager, normally, which some people also call a CEO. And so their job is to develop the visions, values, and strategies for the business. They want to emphasize the company's philosophy, their core values, their shared goals, and the company myth, because every company has a myth based around how they started. They want to establish the internal criteria for success and failure, and they're responsible for overall performance of the organization. So when you move into this role, your role now is to develop the vision, the value, and the strategy of where the company's going. And you want to establish an internal criteria for how you're going to get there. And your job is somewhat to motivate your immediate managers to help push the company in that direction. So let's say that you're a president you have a home-based business, and you're at a level in which you don't do a lot of things in your business, and you have project managers that handle different projects in your business. You're responsible for the vision of where the business is going and where you're going to take your particular team. And you delegate those responsive, the technical stuff is delegated to your project managers, and their job is to manage people that have to do all your technical tasks. So you're no longer doing the day-to-day technical things. You're no longer managing the team. Your job is to create the vision and the values and the strategies for where you're going to take your team. And your job is to be the example of that to your team, but you're also responsible for the overall performance of the organization. So that's the next level after the particular manager level. And the people that you see in this industry that have the big teams, you know, the guys in Amway that are making $1 million a month, they're in the president role. They don't do the day-to-day stuff in their business. They have people that they hired. I heard a person tell me that Jonathan Butt has a team of people. He's paying each one of them 6 figures, and their job is to do the day-to-day task in his business, because his job is just to create vision to the people that are involved on his team. So the next level would be the investor and the business owner. And this is the highest level of business in which you exist outside of the business. And so you view your business as a particular product. You ask, what is the rate of return on my time investment in this business? You start to ask, what is the rate of return on my money invested in this business? You start to ask, is this business that is being built a sellable asset? And is this business growing or shrinking in an asset value? And so I had the pleasure of meeting a guy that essentially was worth about $500 million, and he no longer worked in his business. He just invested in other businesses. And so these were the kind of questions he asked himself when a person talked about their business, is that if he got involved in his business, what would be the rate of return? What would be the rate of return on his financial investment and his time investment? Because he's past the point of having to do the day-to-day things in a business, having to manage people, or even having the vision for a company. If he invests in your business, he wants you to have a vision that he can buy into, that he believes that you can execute. And he's looking to find out, is this business growing or shrinking in asset value? So at the last stage of a role in the business is which you exist outside the business, and you start to see businesses as things that you want to invest in because you see them as products. So what we want to do to wrap this up is to ask yourself, at whatever stage that you have in your business, the questions you need to ask yourself to move to the next stage is that, what do I need to do in my business to move to the next level? Because if you only see yourself as a technician in your business, you will stay a technician in your business. And even though you may be making a good amount of money, it will keep you from scaling your business up, and keep you from putting a point to where you can remove yourself from your business where you don't have to work in your business at all, your business becomes sustainable for you. And you also need to ask yourself, who can I find that can teach me to move to the next level? So if you're at the investor level, who do I have to find that can move me to the manager level? If you're at the manager level, who do I need to get in contact with? What kind of people do I need to hang around that can teach me how to move to the president level? And if you're at the president level, who can I find that can help move me to the investor level? Because there's always another level that you can get to, and there's always people that are above you that can help you get to that level. So what we want to do is wrap up is that there's 4 roles that you can play in your business, and no matter what role you're at, you can always move to another level, because the end goal is to try to eventually remove yourself from your business where your business becomes a sellable product. So I wanted to ask either Jason or Joshua, do they have anything they want to add to this particular presentation?
Yeah, man, that was a really, really good presentation. We always need to be looking forward, always need to be looking into the future. And this presentation really reminded me a lot of a book that I recently read about a month ago. It was a book by Michael Masterson, and it was called Ready, Fire, Aim. And if you guys have not read that book, it talks about this same concept where you start out at a certain level and you keep progressing. And if you don't keep progressing, you're holding the whole organization back. All right. So that's super, super important. I'm going to let Jason chime in here, and then I'm going to let you guys know what you can look forward to for the next webinar.
And yes, I just wanted to add on what you had talked about, Josh. That was a great presentation you had gave there, David. And it was just it just leads me back to how when I got started, how I used to be the person that said, I'm gonna do everything, and I'm gonna know how to get the leads, I'm gonna know how to close the sales, and I want to learn every aspect of how to do everything in my internet business, not knowing that it's hard for me to grow that way. Because if it all relies on me, then as you said, if anything happens to me, then my business crumbles. And so when I actually started to talk to other people that were successful, they helped me to actually realize that what I need to do is learn a certain skill that I'm good at, and everything else outsource that. And then when I learned to outsource things and then to get other people on my team that I could trust that were good at what they did, then I was able to grow my business. But then when I was only relying on myself, I only could go so far. So to really advance, you have to have that mindset that you're going to do what you do well, and then everything else you need to outsource that out to others. So this was a great presentation, and I'm going to pass it back off to Josh so he can talk about what we're going to be talking about next week.
All right, next week we are going to talk about how to optimize your blog so that you will get the highest rate of lead generation that you can possibly get, because that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point of having a blog is to get leads, to get high quality leads. You put out valuable content, you build that relationship with people, and ultimately you want to get leads from that, high quality leads. And I'm going to show you how to optimize that so that everything is all set up so that you can get the highest amount of leads that you possibly can. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close out tonight. Everybody take care and God bless, and we will see you next Monday.